This is an Off the Tongue podcast.
Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning into the show. I'm Doug.
I am Greg.
And Mike is still on sabbatical. And we are it's funny that
this is unpaid, right?
This is unpaid now.
Oh, okay.
We give him 30 days of paid
he's been
time.
gone a while.
Yeah, so it's funny it makes it okay podcast, part of the Off the Tongue podcast network with a plethora. Would you say a plethora? I think we have a plethora.
Maybe a half a plethora. Maybe not quite a full plethora.
A half a plethora of other podcasts. So there's the Greener Grass podcast, the original Copycats, Pint Pals,
Skate Ohio.
There's several other ones out there. Check them out. There's something for every kind of like 31 flavors. There's something for everybody. If we're not your flavor, check something out. Someone will tickle your fancy. I say that one a lot. Tickle your funny bone.
Your fancy. Your fancy or your funny bone?
I feel like I'd rather have my funny bone tickled.
I don't even know what my fancy is.
I don't either. I don't want somebody tickling it, though. I don't think I want anybody touching it.
They say that a lot, though.
They
tickle
do
your
say
fancy.
That. All right. Well, tonight, maybe a little bit abbreviated, but we got a few things here. I've got a couple would you rathers, a couple of just some questions that I've come across, and then we've got stupid criminals, and then I don't know, anything else that pops into our head.
Yeah. So, might be a little shorter one today, but
everybody's happier about that.
That's right. They're celebrating in the streets.
Celebrating. Well, we're recovering, trying to recoup from Valentine's Day.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, man. So, on the would you rather, I got a couple of them here. But first one is, would you rather your arms drag the ground because they're really long or you're really short? They're dragging the ground, but the reason is why. They're going to drag the ground because they're comically long, or you're just short and they're dragging the ground.
So if you're short, well,
your
technically they're still long.
They'll be long to you, but they'll just be like normal size arms. You're just short. But if you're a normal size person and you have like comically long arms that drag down. So they're going to be like, 5 foot arms, 5.5 foot arms, depending on how tall you are.
Yeah, it's going to look silly.
It is going to look silly.
Plus, it's rough on the nails.
It is. Yeah, you'd have to hold them
dragging them up.
You'll look like that red monster on the Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, what was his name?
Did
he ever have a name? Just Monster?
I think it was just Monster.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
I don't know. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Sure, I'll go first on this one. I'm going to take the long arms. As somebody I'm not short, but I'm not tall. I'm 5'8", and it's like I don't want to be any shorter. So I think I could get more use out of the long arms. I could reach up, help people get stuff off the top shelf. Now I can't see what's up there, so I could stick my hands up into like a mousetrap.
Yeah, it could be an animal.
Pull it down. Could be an animal. Yeah. Could. Now driving's going to be a little difficult. I mean, my arm's going to be way over into the passenger seat. The other one's going to be out the window. Elbow's going to be hanging out there. I don't know. I think I can do more though. See, now you've got me thinking. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with the longer arms.
See, I want to split the room, but let me think about this. Okay, so I do know as I've gotten older, I have more difficulty when I'm sleeping what to do with my arms.
That would be bad.
I wake up and it's like, I don't know what to do with my arms. I got one under my wife's pillow. I got one hanging over the edge of the bed. And just think about that. There are monsters under the bed.
Oh, there are.
So if your long arm is hanging off the bed.
Well, it'll take a long time for him to eat all the way up to my head. So I got some time.
It's like spaghetti for him.
I do.
But so that's a problem. Because I already have that difficulty, and I'm not tall by any means, but I'm not short either. So would I want to give a go at being shorter? I got to stick with long arms though. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think there's too many benefits to having the long arms.
Yeah.
Like I play keyboards, and that could be kind of handy. I mean, I can reach easily one end to the other.
Well, you may have to sit so far back you wouldn't be able to see the sheet.
True. Maybe I may
You're
be
across the stage.
yeah, I got to go with long arms.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we both.
Think how well you could scratch your back, though.
Ooh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, you could just reach over.
That would. And you could reach things really well.
Yeah.
Pulling on.
A lot of good reaching.
There is a lot of good reaching going on. I like that. I do like that aspect of it. So we both went with the long arms. All right. Kind of sticking with the body.
The body.
Would you rather have your hands shrink to like baby doll hand size when it gets too hot, or your feet shrink to baby doll feet size when it gets too cold?
So your hands, if
like
it's
just
hot,
real quick. So if the temperature gets to a certain temperature, and let's say you're not sure what that temperature is, it may fluctuate. So it's not like you can say, oh, when it gets to 79, I can oh no, you can be outside and just whoop, and then your hands you're going to catch the ball and it goes down, and now
then you get hit in the face.
Or you could be running and your feet go whoop, you get these little big feet, and you boom, 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 then you fall straight over. So you go in hands or feet?
All right, so hands shrink when it's hot.
When it's hot.
Feet shrink when they're cold.
Yeah.
I hate cold.
And we live here in Illinois, so it's about 50-50. It's not like you're going to, unless say you can't move to where it's always 7. You have to just stay where there's going to be fluctuations in the temperature.
Yeah, I mean,
well, that could even be in somebody's house. You go inside, they got the heat on.
Yeah, you could be eating or something, and all of a sudden, whoop!
Or the air conditioning kicks on, and then your little feet shrink up.
Shrinkage.
The
shrinkage.
Feet. Shrinkage. Yeah, people should know about shrinkage.
Are they affected by temperatures of the water?
I think any temperature.
So, like if you're
Don't
swimming,
you? I think you're
in
going to
the
go
ocean,
any temperature.
Swimming.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go hand shrinkage because the risk of falling, I don't like that. I could be injured. So I think hand shrinkage could have its problems too.
Yeah.
I think
driving.
I can't steer.
You hold my little hands can't hold the steering wheel.
See, I have small hands anyways, so if they
Or
shrink,
you're drinking a big
they're gonna
Polar
be,
Pop.
It's going to be in my lap. But man, the feet, and when it's cold, I just don't like the whole idea of them. My feet shrinking up and I just topple over. That's my biggest concern.
That's a concern.
Because I don't carry things with my feet.
No.
What other non-benefit to the feet would there be? Or like a detriment with small feet?
The falling over is the worst part.
Falling, because, you're going to, say you're a 9.5, 10 now, and they shrink to 3, you're going to, your shoes are all of a sudden going to be big. You're going to fall out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going hands.
Yeah. I tried to split the room with this one as well, and I had already wrote down hands for the same reason.
Yeah.
But and it presents difficulties as well.
Yeah,
you
it
can
does.
get injured. You can get smacked in the face. You're putting your hands up to catch something, and it shakes down.
Like the aforementioned playing keys.
Yes,
I could be playing along, and all of a sudden, my teeny little hand, I wouldn't be. I can reach 3 keys on it.
But just your feet shrinking up and losing your balance, and
you
could be going up the stairs. Blah, 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 blah.
That'd be horrible.
Not good.
But my teeny hands with my long arms will really be.
All right. I saw this question. This isn't a would you rather. This is more of a question. It says, how many men would it take to defeat a silverback gorilla? And let's say you're one of them. But I thought, because you could just say, well, give me 100 guys. But let's make it a little more interesting. Let's say you're thrown in there and they're going to give you some amount of money. And you have to buy people to come help you fight. And every person you bring in is going to take money away from that pot. So you want to keep some of the money. Let's say it's $10 million, and for every guy that comes in, you lose $1 million.
And are these guys
the average? We're going to say the average. We're not going to say that they're not real scrawny. They're not hulks, but they're average,
6-foot-ish,
average guys,
200 pounds.
Yeah,
I mean, ballpark. Okay,
and relatively decent shape. Not bodybuilders, but
I don't know
Let's
how
give
many it
you
would
20
take.
million. Let's give you 20 million to play with. Each person you bring in is going to take $1 million away from you.
So you got a maximum of 20 guys then.
Yeah. Well, you could have more than that. Well, no. Because so
You'd wipe out
you would
your
have
money.
zero.
Yeah, you'd have no money. So what's the benefit at that point? Other than you're going to get killed by the silverback.
I think I would go 10 and me. I think I'd say 11. 11 of us could take the gorilla. That would leave me with 9 million.
So
That
figure 5 of that for the hospital bills.
Well, that could be. Let's say you're going to fight it anyway. Let's say
Well, yeah, if you got to go one-on-one.
well, regardless of how many people, you can't get out of that room. You've got to defeat the gorilla to get out of the room. But you can bring people in. So I'm going 10. So there'll be 11 total. I think we could do it. I think we could do it with 10, with 11. Ooh.
See,
It's
initially
rough.
I thought 10, but then I got thinking about it. 10 guys trying to hold down a very strong gorilla.
he's angry. He's got the animal rage going.
I'm going to bump up a couple and say 12 plus me. So that's 13 guys,
Okay.
which only leaves me, 7? Then Uncle Sam will take half that.
Well, this is tax-free money.
Tax-free money.
This is in some
I hope Elon's
third
not
world
listening.
country that, they have fight to the death against gorillas. So
Yeah.
You're going 12. See, I'm sticking with my 10. I think we could do it. I think we could maybe. You'd have to go for the neck. You'd have to try to choke him out. That's your only hope.
But you got to get some of the guys I think are going to have to try to see the feet. You're not going to have a chance. I mean,
No.
But maybe the arms, maybe you could get, 4 guys on the arms, 2 on each arm,
I think you'd need 3 on each arm at least.
3 on each arm.
They
So that's 6.
They can turn a tire inside out. I mean, they're insane.
But then you try to choke him out, but you got to have those arms locked up or he's going to just tear you from limb from limb.
I agree.
So I'm sticking with my 12.
I will probably get killed, but I'm
Plus
going to try
me,
it.
I'll be supervising.
Then I got this last question here. I don't like the way it's worded, but what's the weirdest food for a grown man to eat alone? Let's say you're sitting there eating a type of food alone. What would be the most off-putting if you go by? It's like, that's weird. I was thinking like one of those giant all-day suckers. He's just sitting on the park bench just licking the giant
That would be
sucker.
weird. Yes, that would be weird.
Okay. What about an ice cream cone? Would you go get an ice cream cone by yourself and sit on the park bench and just sit there and eat it?
That I might. I don't find that weird.
No, I find that's a little odd. You're eating the ice cream
Well,
cone
it
by
depends. Is it
yourself.
just a swirl chocolate vanilla or has it got sprinkles on it?
Oh, let's see. Yours has sprinkles. You got sprinkles.
Because now you
on
put the
yours.
sprinkles on, all of a sudden it becomes weird.
It does become weird.
Just a swirl chocolate vanilla. I wouldn't find that weird.
What about a banana?
A banana on the park bench.
Just sitting there, just peeling it, just
Well, and
eating
then the
banana.
silverback's going to come get you.
Maybe.
Because you got a banana.
Just eating bananas, watching people walk by.
I still don't feel weird with a banana.
Yeah,
What about a steak? You're sitting on the park bench.
well, is it on a plate, or am I just holding it in my hand eating a steak?
I don't know.
I'd rather eat a steak than a banana.
You're sitting there, you got a steak.
How about
I mean,
a corn dog?
I like corn dogs.
I don't like corn dogs, so to me it's just gross. I just don't like
Cotton
corn dogs.
candy?
I like cotton candy, but
The one on the stick, where it's
Oh,
a big
yeah.
ball.
it would be weird for a grown man to
What
sit
else
there
would
and
be?
eat.
What would be weird to sit on the bench and eat? Weird for a guy. Well, I'm trying to think what the gals tend to like to eat, and would any of those things look weird for a guy? A croissant with chicken salad on it, maybe. That's a sandwich, though. And you're at the park. I mean, that probably wouldn't be weird.
Yeah.
I know I'm stereotyping the women here.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what
Slice of pizza?
I would have no problem with a slice of pizza.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I think the sucker would probably
The sucker would be
worst,
weird.
The weirdest one.
Yeah, because
Sucking out a lot of them. Although Kojak, Telly Savalas.
I'm thinking one of those big rainbow ones, or the round ones.
Yeah, that would be different.
Or anything that's like a blue raspberry icy that's going to make your lips and tongue all blue. As an adult, that would look weird, probably.
Probably. I still think, the sucker has probably got to be the weirdest thing.
Sucker would be weird.
Yeah, because this started out with people like saying, "Would you should a if you're a grown man eating alone, what shouldn't you eat alone?" It's like, I don't know. I don't like going to a restaurant by myself anyway, but I mean that's just kind of odd. I feel weird about sitting at a restaurant just eating.
Yeah, or going to the movie.
Yeah, would you rather go to a movie or go out to dinner by yourself? Let's say not fast food. Let's say a sit-down
restaurant
where a waiter comes up, they wait on you. You get a salad first, and then your meal comes.
I'd probably go to the movie before I would.
I would too. It's dark.
Yeah, it's dark.
I can kind of hide
I could pick
there.
the movie I want to see.
Yeah,
and I'll try to make it something fairly macho, that a racing movie or some action movie or something. But now, if you were at home by yourself.
Not Mamma Mia or anything like that.
Is there a movie sitting at home by your wife's out of town for the weekend or something?
If I'm by myself at home, I don't care. I'll watch whatever.
But there's any that you'd feel weird watching that you're like,
I don't know.
Would you sit and watch a rom-com while your wife's gone?
No, because I mean that wouldn't be my style. I wouldn't. I would probably watch.
But
a documentary.
You have to.
Well, if I have to watch,
you got to watch something that you're. I don't know.
Then I probably would feel.
No, I would go to the theater before I would sit at a sit-down restaurant.
Yeah, I would too. Most definitely.
I've sat at a restaurant before.
I have too. I've been on trainings and stuff.
Yeah, training for work or something. It feels awkward.
It does. Feels like.
As a matter of fact, I usually try to get something to go, take it back to the hotel.
Yeah, I do too. I'm gonna call an audible here.
That's fine.
We're gonna go to stupid criminals here in just a second, but that just got me thinking about this other article I had down here. It says 8 scenarios in life where crying is a sign of strength. Let's see if some of these are real. So I'm not real emotional. Unlike
I
Greg.
am.
Greg is super emotional. He loves talking about his feelings.
Yeah.
I can't get him. So these are some, I just thought I don't know if I'll do all 8, but I'll get your thoughts on it.
We should have our wives back in for this one.
Well, we don't want to do that. The first one, it says that you shouldn't feel, it should be a sign of strength if you can cry, admitting you're struggling. So you shouldn't just say you're fine. I'm fine. But I do. I mean, you just press on. I don't get that upset about, I mean, even if I get upset about certain things or you get kind of down, I don't broadcast that to everybody else.
No, I am fine.
They say crying in front of others when you're struggling isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're strong enough to be honest with yourself, Greg. You got to be honest with yourself.
Oh, I'm honest with myself.
So I would say no. As a grown man, no, you don't need to cry. You push that feeling down in the box and you lock it.
So are you asking, though, is there instances where it shows strength or is manly to cry?
Well, that's what they're asking, and that's scenario 1. I'm going to get to some other scenarios. There might be
about crying.
Yeah, there might be some scenarios in here where it is okay. But
you're going to go through the scenarios.
Yeah, there's 8 of them. So that one is admitting, that you're struggling. You go, man, I'm just struggling with some personal stuff right now.
I'd say a no on that.
I would say no too, because no man wants to hear that from you. Men are brutal. We'll just rip into you. The second one they said is saying goodbye to someone you love. Now, at first I thought, this is like they died. But it's like, no, you have a friend and they're moving. It's like, well, then no, I'm not going to cry over that.
I've had multiple friends move.
I mean, like, hey, man, sorry you're moving for, our sake. Cause we had a good time together, but I wish you well and great success and
Yes.
move on. I'm not going to
Yes.
sit there and boo-hoo.
Godspeed.
Godspeed. Crying during goodbyes isn't weakness. It's proof of deep connection. Well, there we go.
I've had good friends who moved. I've
But
never
deep
once
connection?
cried.
Did you have a I don't
I
think
would say I had a deep connection.
if you didn't cry, you can't have
did
a
not
deep
cry.
connection. You can't have a deep connection without the
I
crying.
think we had a deep connection. Did not cry.
Pretending not to care would have been the real weakness, Greg.
Well, I didn't pretend not to care either.
Now, this one, I think that, I'll this way, but processing grief and loss. So this is like, okay, when you lose someone or something, this is something important. The something I don't know about, but the someone, like someone dies, you got a family member that dies. I think, that's a appropriate response. Tears, it says, actually contain stress hormones, which means crying helps your body physically release tension and emotion. I would say you lose a loved one, that's the time to cry.
You know, it's weird. My dad passed when I was 23, I believe. And that was one of the few times I've cried in my adult life. But it's weird, when my mom passed, I didn't. And I think it's because dad's was unexpected and mom's was going through things, and it was kind of, we knew it was going to happen. So I think I processed
that can
it differently.
make a big difference.
So
if they're going through physical things or they're slowly, it's a process that's happening rather than the shock of it just happening all at once.
I loved them both. I mean, there was no, reason, but.
So I think we both agree that's an appropriate time
I would
for a
say
man
that's
to cry.
acceptable.
Number 4. I don't even understand this one. Standing up for what you believe in. That makes you cry. Again, this is probably all they're going to say, that I'm being sexist. I have no idea. So speaking up for something you care about can be overwhelming.
Well,
like you're letting your emotions run high.
I got to go with that one, because I was on a church board and the church went through a horrible split. And I was on the board and we had meeting. I had so much invested in it. It was hard work. We were meetings late at night, and it lasted, for a period of time.
Yeah.
That was one of the other times I cried. And it was like, I can count the number on one hand, probably times I've cried since I was an adult. And that was one. And it was because my emotions were ramped up. We had been through a lot. I was heavily invested in it. And, it was a rough time.
I don't know if I've ever cried in that situation. I'm trying to think. I have cried because of a lost loved one, but I don't know if I've cried in that one. I think it makes you a little less of a man.
Maybe a little. Maybe I lost a point.
I'm just kidding, people. Relax.
It was a punch on my man card,
Relax.
which we know has been destroyed multiple times.
It's okay to cry. This is what the article says. When you're letting go of the past, moving on. So the moment I allowed myself to cry over what I'd been holding on to for so long, something shifted. So something in the past, it doesn't say what, so I would need more information there.
Yeah, just the past in general, I'm not feeling it.
I look back at my life and think, oh.
I might sob a little with that. Why did
I do this? I've screwed myself up so much. So I would say, in general, no.
I agree.
So we've definitively said. So basically, I say there's one time. You've got 2.
I got 2.
This is a surprise.
And I am not a crier.
This is a shocker that I thought that I would have more times it's okay to cry. Well, let's see. We're not done yet.
Let's see. You said the loss of someone.
Yes.
Does that include your dogs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I say loss of someone.
Someone.
Yeah. I cried when the dog. I had put a dog down.
And I figured
that
maybe
recently.
as much.
So I feel a little bit lesser of a man for doing it, but I did. See, I'm honest.
I understand
I'm
it, though.
equal.
I understand. You're close to your dogs. I understand.
So it's crying in front of others. Most people assume that crying in front of someone makes you look weak. It does make you look weak. It says in reality, it takes far more strength to be vulnerable than to hide your face.
Does it?
See, I grew up kind of in that stoic kind of, we didn't show our. Now, my dad would say he loves us and everything, and we would say we love my mom and dad and everything, but we didn't have a lot. It didn't do any good to get a lot emotional. It was more of like, well, what do we got to do to, what are we doing? Yeah, we don't like this. We're upset, but let's move on and try to do what we've got to do and move on. So psychologists say that expressing emotions openly can actually deepen your relationships and build trust. So I agree with that. It can.
It can.
I just don't know. I don't know what crying. I don't think it helps a lot. That's just me. That's me. I'm sure I'm wrong.
I think it's showing your vulnerability.
I don't want to be vulnerable.
Well, nobody wants to be vulnerable.
Well, then why are they making us do this? Why do they make
want
me
you to
feel
be.
bad? I don't want to be vulnerable.
They want you to be, though.
Pushing yourself outside your comfort zone.
That makes you cry?
Big life changes. Starting a new job, moving to a new city can be exciting and also terrifying.
What about having a baby?
I would cry now if I, at my age, if I had a baby. Yes, I would probably sob for days.
Did you when you had your son, though?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I had emotion.
Almost passed out, but I don't think
I had emotion, but I don't think I cried. I will be honest. As a young man, I didn't cry much. I've gotten a little more weepy as I've gotten older. I think
watching a rom-com.
Yeah, well, I know that rom-com, but things will tug at my heartstrings sometimes a little bit. So as I've gotten older, when I was younger, I was like, just move on. But I think as you get older, you start losing family members and parents and loved ones, and you just start realizing life
and mental stability.
Life moves quick and things change, and so it can make you a little more emotional. I don't know.
Yeah, I probably am more than I used to be.
And that's saying something. Because you were a rock. I mean, literally, a rock. And the last one they said that it's okay to cry is knowing when to ask for help. Admitting you can't do it all alone is one of the hardest things to do. It's easy to pretend you're fine. Push through silently. Yes, that's what a man does. We just
push through.
Everything's good. We're all good. Real strength, though, is what this person's saying, is recognizing when you need support and being brave enough to ask for it. Crying in these moments isn't weakness. It's honesty, self-awareness. Psychology tells us that reaching out, even through tears, strengthens resilience and emotional well-being. I don't think a man should sit on a park bench and cry. I would rather
while eating a sucker.
I would rather eat the sucker than sit there and cry.
What if you're crying while you're eating the sucker? That really looks weird.
That does look bad. I don't know. So I didn't want to get off on the whole thing.
I don't like to cry.
I don't either. I hate it. I've had people that wouldn't you feel better? No, I wouldn't feel better. I don't want to watch sad movies. I don't want to hear a sad song.
Sad commercials.
Life is sad. Let's just be funny and happy, and the sad times will get here soon enough.
We don't have a podcast. It's sad that makes it okay.
No, it's funny. We want to stay funny. All right, that was the last thing. Do you have anything else?
No, I don't believe so.
All right. Well, let's get into a few stupid criminals, and we'll wrap this.
A couple of those.
You have one. You said
I got one.
You want me to go? I'll read one of mine, then you can read one of yours.
Go ahead.
While you're bringing that up. All right. Well, we have. I've got some assault and battery here. I've got 3 food-related ones. So let me say this:
food criminals.
A stripper, 22 years old, was busted for battery at a 7-Eleven. What do you think she used to batter somebody with? It's all food related. This is all food related.
All food related. A sub sandwich.
A banana.
A banana.
Out of all the fruit, I would think that would be my top choice.
They can get they would get squishy real quick.
I know. So
something like a cantaloupe.
Oh, cantaloupe would do sometime. Watermelon.
Yeah.
I don't know how many 7-Elevens have watermelons around there, but still. A 7-Eleven customer used a banana to batter a store clerk, according to Florida police.
Would there be a better food item at the 7-Eleven?
Apple?
A canned good?
Apple?
An apple?
Apple would do some damage.
Hard-boiled egg?
I am not even going to try to, let's see. I don't know. Kayla Vaya Turner, 22, got into a verbal altercation with a 30-year-old female worker, and the women exchanged derogatory comments towards each other, according to a police report. At one point, Turner became irate, picked up a banana from the cashier counter, and threw the banana at the victim's face. The airborne fruit struck the employee on the cheekbone and left a minor abrasion.
A bruise.
Yes. On the banana and the woman.
Yes.
The banana was not seized as evidence.
A little chalk outline of it.
Police records list Turner's employment as Baby Dolls, a Clearwater Gentlemen's Club located 4 miles from the 7-Eleven outlet. She's being held without bond for violating probation in connection with a grand theft conviction in a neighboring county. She stole $800 worth of merchandise from a Walmart. So
maybe they're still looking for the weapon.
Yeah. She was also picked up or held for failing to pay bond, as well as perform 75 hours of community service, which she did not do. So she's in a little bit of trouble.
What would a stripper's community service look like?
Working the stop sign, I guess. I don't know. That's a good question. So there we are. That was the first one.
All right. Well, let's go to Missouri.
Oh.
So this article, it's an article someone wrote. This isn't the actual police report, because if it was, you wouldn't probably start it this way. 2 idiots
You might.
in Missouri got caught with drugs the other day after stopping to ask police for directions. Their names are Aaron Reagan and Alan Richards. They're both 27. They pulled up next to some cops on January 31st and asked how to get to Osage Beach. It's in the Ozarks in the middle of the state. It turned out they were already in Osage Beach and didn't realize it. And that's right about when the officers realized that they may not be sober. The cops stopped to ask happened to be there doing a training session for drug dogs.
Oh, well, there we go.
So they brought a dog over and found 2 grams of meth. Both men are facing drug possession charges.
Not Doug charges.
No, not drug possession. So, yeah.
Thank goodness.
So they asked the cops for directions to a place they were already at. So
They were idiots.
Yes. And the cops were there with the drug dogs ready to go.
All right.
So a simple, stupid criminal.
I have an ex-con here who got into a little bit of trouble. He was arrested for battery. What do you think he used to
Batteries?
batter somebody? No, it's all food related.
Oh, it's all food related. What did he use?
This was not a fruit.
Not a fruit.
This is a type of sandwich. I'll even go that far.
Type of sandwich.
Yes.
Battery with a type of sandwich. Well, I said a sub sandwich last time. I wonder if I'm close with that one. Let's say a meatball sub.
Let's find out. An ex-con is locked up without bond for an alleged bologna sandwich battery.
Man, I have not had bologna in ages.
I haven't either. Florida police report. Actually, I just bought some bologna. But it's the deli. It's the smoked Lebanese sweet bologna. It's good.
Never had it.
It's not like Oscar Mayer bologna. I'm assuming he did not go and get the deli bologna. I'm assuming this is like
it's the Oscar Mayer.
I don't even know if it's Oscar Mayer.
The house brand.
Yes. Yes. And not the beef bologna. It'll just be meat product.
No, yeah,
bologna.
just meat byproduct.
And out of
and
all
American cheese.
Out of all the sandwich meats, I feel like bologna is not a very good meat to assault. You can't really assault somebody with a bologna.
Well, no, it's floppy.
Yes, it is. It's not very firm. I think the
Even
worst
if
would
it's
be
on
like
bread.
head cheese.
Even
Head
if it's
cheese
on
would
bread.
be worse than
yeah,
bologna.
head cheese. A salami.
Salami could be hard. If
Well,
you
that's
got
what
a
I mean.
good thick
If you,
slice.
yeah, thick slice.
yeah.
Especially if you got it in a roll still.
Yeah.
Of course, I guess bologna could be in a roll too.
It could be. Aquavius Chandler, 29, convicted felon, was arrested Sunday following confrontation with his stepfather over the accused man's use of the PlayStation 5. So, yeah, he's living with his stepdad, or probably his mom, and he's playing this PlayStation 5. He's 29, ex-felon. According to a
Boy,
criminal
he's just got it going on,
he
doesn't he?
does, ladies. If you're looking for some
I bet he cries too.
Oh, he's very sensitive. He looks sensitive from the picture. According to a criminal complaint, the victim told the cops he removed the gaming system from Chandler's bedroom because he was being too loud while using the PS5. The victim stated that the defendant became aggressive and began yelling at him. The 62-year-old victim said that while he was being yelled at, Chandler threw a bologna sandwich at him, which ultimately hit him in the center of the chest. Investigators added no visible injuries were seen from the bologna sandwich strike. I wouldn't think so.
Rush him to the hospital.
Yeah, so while the domestic incident would normally be charged as a misdemeanor, the alleged bologna battery has been upgraded to a felony due to Chandler's prior battery convictions, 2 of which also involve video games. I think he needs to stay away from the video games.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
I think this is bad. You've got 2, now a third felony involved from you playing video games?
Yeah. Were the other 2 food related?
It does not say. Well, hang on. In 2023, Chandler pleaded no contest to choking his sister during a dispute.
Ooh.
That in part stemmed from him playing a video game. Chandler served about a year in state prison in that case. And in 2022, he was nabbed for a violent encounter during which he threatened a 60-year-old man with a knife and shoved his sister, 28, to the ground. He pleaded guilty to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and battery. Chandler told the cops he got upset at his video game, which led him to arguing with the male victim.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so a third felony charge from video games.
And they say video games don't cause problems.
Yes. Well, I think we both know. There will be some crying probably in that house later on. And the last one, the police are probing into who poached 100,000 eggs.
Is that recent? Because I saw today on the news where people are stealing eggs.
I think, yeah.
Out of the cartons.
I don't know, a few, maybe 7-8 days ago.
They're like going to the grocery store and taking a few eggs out of a carton.
Well, this was a lot of eggs. Police are scrambling to identify who poached about 100,000 organic eggs from a Pennsylvania protein producer. Cops estimated the current street value. I like how it's got a street value of the eggs at about $40,000. Although that price could increase based on
about
the
4 eggs.
Yes. Investigators say Pete and Jerry's Organic Eggs was victimized Saturday evening when one of its distributor trailers was burglarized. The eggs were swiped from outside the firm's headquarters, a borough in the south central part of the state. Pennsylvania State Police have asked the public to contact them with any information about the theft. So, yeah, they went and... You got to have a semi-truck to take that many eggs,
You'd
don't
have
you?
to. You'd have, yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of eggs. So that was the last. That one didn't really have a criminal. They're still looking. So if you know somebody's trying to peddle you some eggs,
yeah,
you're out walking some. Psst, hey,
you know,
buddy,
we've been getting. Lori's been buying some organic eggs.
Has she been getting a deal?
Well, she's getting them from somebody local. You know,
some guy in a van.
Could be.
Hey, lady, you want to buy some eggs?
He opens his coat and it's got a row of eggs in there.
Check out these eggs. I don't know. All right. Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, that will wrap up the show for tonight. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. We hope you're having a fabulous February.
Yes.
We are here in beautiful central Illinois where it's probably 20 degrees out. So
yes, it's getting closer to spring.
Yes. We're getting
Another
close to
month,
March.
We'll be getting some decent days periodically or 8 inches of snow. Yeah. One or the other.
And you probably don't appreciate this or think about it, but as somebody who owns dogs, it either needs to stay cold and frozen or warm up and dry out because this muddy weather is terrible.
Muddy weather's not good.
It's a mess. The dogs are a nightmare. They're just a muddy mess all the time. So I hate it. All right. Anyway, I got all derailed there. But hey, thanks for tuning in to the show. We hope you're tuning in 7 days. Until then, see ya.
Later.